Okay, this is neat. Somebody actually designed a pirate boat out of the building pieces here, posted it up. That's pretty cool. I like that. It does look realistic for the parts that we have. That's probably about as good as you can do it. Let's see who this was. I've never seen these people around before, but that's really cool. I like what they did there. Okay, here we are. We have made it all the way to outpost Cheviot. I went ahead and put a little marker here so that I can actually get to it easily without having to search for it too much. We're just going to do a little tour of it. It should be the same, I forget what they're called, the little quest items. We're not going to get anything new here. It's going to be that governance. But I thought it would be neat to just look around it and kind of document what it looks like. We have another 3D printer here. Because this was one of the starter zones, you're not going to see that powerful of enemies here. This was sort of about, I mean, this was towards the end of the harder area of the map, but they didn't really have a certain section. Like there's some harder stuff. Anywhere that it's in red text on the map, it was hard. Hard enemies. So down here was like the first one you would encounter because most people would spawn in the west side of the map, and then right here is the hardest part, hardest enemies. Now we're just gonna kind of take the tour here. This was also a flops event. I fought quite a few people here at this location. Go ahead and double check and make sure it's still the governance intelligence. Yeah, governance calling 5. So it's the same one. We're not going to collect those again. We only need the one copy. Here's a schematic authenticator. That's another one of the terminals for the flop event. I'm getting a lot of lag right now. So whenever you see the game pause, that's just, I think that's just MS being too high. It's just too high of lag. They have another blue lobster over there. the exact same layout as the one from the other outpost that we looked at. All of these enemies had kind of unique names as well, like that one was called the Mule, or MUL-3. Some called Minotaurs. There's actually flying enemies, which we should see later in this video series. Here's another one of the terminals that you would access during the PvP flop event. No dancer here either. This is kind of neat because inside of the club there's an exit that goes directly into a tunnel in the back. Going to the left ended in a dead end. Looks like if that wasn't me, somebody else has been here recently. Exits up above. And we still have that building and that building to take a look at, and then we may even, yeah, we're gonna go down and take a look at that rig. This little building here we didn't see from down below, but we're going to take a look at it as well. Another individualizer. They were just kind of all over the place inside a point of interest. A 3D printer. And in this tower is another schematic authenticator. I thought the other point of interest was the only one with two of them, but we just saw one down there, and this is the main one that I would use while I played the game. I would always come here because this was one of the closer ones to me with the least hassle. I didn't have to clear a lot of enemies to get to it, and the enemies would not respawn while I was using it either, typically. another one of the terminals for the flop event. Here we have another lift. We're going to be able to go all the way down and take a look at that rig down there. You had to be real careful with these things, because if you were standing just kind of outside of it, it would cut you in half. Just like it would in real life, it actually would kill you if you were standing on it incorrectly in the game. Another individualizer. Okay. Interesting. I never noticed just how many individualizers they had spread throughout the game. Just had to kind of look out for a little bit. Just really love the look and the feel of this game. I definitely got my money's worth out of this game. I think I got it on sale for like $5, and I have about 1,000 or more hours into it. It was a lot of fun, even with all of its flaws. Looks like I'm gonna have to clear out this area so we can get a good look around it. I'm not sure if there's like a distance component to this. It seems like if I'm hitting them dead on far away, it just doesn't work. So there may be some sort of bullet drop, but it seems like that might be a little more complicated of a mechanic than they would have had. So it's just a big digging rig that they had parked here, and kind of indicates where there might be some iron ore. Like you'll see iron ore kind of spread around inside of this. I don't know, what is this, like a crater or cubby hole? I don't know. But that's Outpost Cheviot, and we have taken a look at it and explored it. Okay, so another thing I found on my way where we're headed is, looks like somebody created a tank. I think that's supposed to be an army tank right there, and I think they did a pretty good job. I think it looks pretty neat. Some of the things people do creatively is just, it boggles the mind because it's so cool. This is another shot of that pirate ship. I just thought it looked really cool from this angle. I am currently back on my way. We gotta pass through Capital Station and get back to Biosphere Tansuo for the next part of this protocol. We're gonna go ahead and do the Ni Hao protocol here. Okay, we've made our way to Biosphere Tansuo. This particular point of interest is the first biosphere that you'll see. It's a group of buildings, and there are a lot of enemies inside. Some of them you have not encountered before. This is the introduction of the acid spitter. You would also farm acid from these. You'll find it out of boxes and other things as well. But this is also the only place you're going to find plant parts. And you need the plant parts to make high-end rations so that you can eat. Keep your food meter from going too low. And as you can see, the indicator for the intelligence that we're looking for. We'll go ahead and pick that one up. Individualizer. There's a lot of loot in these biospheres, so you can just grab it all. We are starting to run out of carry capacity right now. And then we'll end up with things that we really don't need, like this worker's chest rig. We don't need that. All of these low-end guns, these low-end armors, we're just going to get rid of because it takes up a lot of weight for not a lot of benefit. Like, we don't have really anything that we need these for. And we could technically take it back to our base and break it down. Wouldn't get that many materials out of it though. So I'm going to forego looting here, and we're just going to go ahead and just look around and observe, and we're going to pick up the protocol items and move on. Hidden among these plants are the actual plant parts, and that's what you have to collect in order to make high-end medical supplies and food supplies. Well, that's the one building. That's just the smallest building out on the outside. They are connected with hallways, or you can run outside and go around. Even the hallways have kind of an open door that you can walk through. More of a breezeway, I guess, than a hallway, but it works. Now this counter right here, whenever the game first came out, it was in beta, and they did server wipes. This would count down to a mass coronal ejection that was going to hit Mars, and that is how they explained wiping out all of the clones and wiping the servers. So it had its own like story reason as to why they would do that, even though it was really just to implement changes in the game and do updates. It's another fragment of intelligence. So yeah, that was really cool because I really like the fact that they put in a lore reason for this to happen, for this to occur. Now the clock actually counts up instead of down, but it used to count down, and that's how you knew how long you had left. They would also allow you to put like kind of like a time capsule. You would have a little chest that would hold like 5 items, and you could put it in there and bury it. And then after the wipe, whenever you started your new clone, you could go and grab those 5 items. So typically what you would do is you would get a blueprint for your favorite gun, so that way you could make your favorite gun whenever you started back up. And you know, just kind of little items. Flops used to be a physical item. Here's another intelligence fragment. But flops used to be an item in your bags, and now they're just a currency that, you know, adds up, just like it's its own wallet. So you don't drop it if you die or anything. Oh, that's one of the acid spitters. The old Scorpio. Well, it looks like I'm going to have to loot a few more things just for the protocol, but these plant parts are counting. They're not very heavy. We're up to 19 of 25 for that portion of it, and we still have to find 2 fragments of data. Here's one of the intelligence fragments. We're going to go ahead and still explore around a little bit, pick up a couple of more things for the protocol. That finishes out that portion of the protocol. And we just need to look around a little bit. So there are 3 floors to the central building. Not really much to it. There's a couple of boxes up here that would respawn for loot. It was just a really good place for starter loot. Like, you would come in here, you would loot everything. You'd have enough materials to make your food, your medical supplies, get your base started. Some of the essentials for that are found here. And of course the protocol with the intelligence fragments. And this is the last piece of intelligence that we need for this area. We'll go ahead and make sure that we clear out this area before we really mess with it. I'm going to pick it up. We're going to go back over to this 3rd floor, and then that way we know that we're not going to be interrupted while we take a look at this intelligence. Or maybe there's an enemy up here that we need to kill first. I definitely hear one. I don't know where it's at. There we go. And whenever you kill them, they had a lootable corpse that you could also salvage, and then they had a visual corpse that flew off and sparked. That corpse, you cannot interact with it. It's really nothing but visual. Okay, let's organize these intelligence fragments in order and then go over them. Security under pressure. Intelligence fragment. Matching fragments can be compiled into a durable intelligence storage. This is entirely in a language I cannot read or understand. Well, I hope that somebody can read this and glean something from it. Not going to be me, though. We're going to go ahead and compile it and see if there is an audio voiceover. It doesn't look like there is one. We do have the completed security under pressure, though, and it did complete the protocol. So the next protocol is called Well Preserved. We'll have to gain access to the database of the bunker site in the north of Saturva Colas, find the data storage, and scavenge leftover supplies. I think that's going to be just another completed data set that we'll have to just pick up, and of course just looting. So we're going to tackle that in the next video, and I will see you guys next time.